What's up and good morning, guys. Welcome back to another video. On today's episode of how to not maintain your truck. Or actually, we should say how to maintain your truck, because guys, it is very important to rotate your tires. Now, I think we're about, what, 40,000 miles over?
I was gonna say it's been about 4 years and probably, 40,000 miles since they've been put on.
Yeah, you should probably rotate them just a little bit sooner than we're doing right now, but...
Well, I mean, the truck's only had 8 oil changes since then, so...
Yeah, okay, yeah. Every oil change, rotate your tires. The old OBS here has been, she's been getting a little used, and I wouldn't say used and abused, but this is my daily driver. I drive down a dirt road every single day. I drive down 2 dirt roads every single day. And well, this thing just like, you know, old trucks, they should be a little bit more babied than I baby this thing. Now that being said, she's getting the love that she needs today, because she's been getting a little bit sketchy when it comes to driving. The other day, she went in like full death wobble mode. And if you've ever been in a truck that death wobbles, it is no fun, let me tell you. And I was about like 30 minutes away from the shop and just kind of had to suck it up and go for it on the freeway at like allegedly 75, 80. And I've been kind of driving her since, and she's like on the verge of death wobbling every time I take her out. So I think it's time we like alleviate that issue, which is why we got all of these parts right here.
We built the truck. It was even worse than it is now. So we fixed all that, but now we're doing everything that we didn't do.
Yeah, and granted, like these tires have worn quite a bit, but it's a beamed truck, which Zach is about as good as they come when it comes to aligning things, but talk about how fun it is to align a beam truck.
Dude, they suck. I've aligned my truck once and I'll pay somebody to do it. Because it says it's good, then you drive it and you're like, yeah, it's nowhere near where it needs to be. Cool.
So, the OBS is going to be getting all the love that it needs today, but we got something else that we're doing today. Well, let's just show what else we got going on over here. If you guys remember, we had Gas Goat's original truck back when they were just starting out their business of a gas delivery service, and Zach did all of the installs of the transfer tanks in the bed of the truck and basically helped kind of get them started. And well, good news is business is clearly doing well, because they've got a whole nother truck that they're ready for Zach to do all the installs on. And yeah, it's cool to see companies grow. And on top of that, we're gonna go pick up my CRF 110 right now, which has been getting built over the last couple of weeks. And like the whole thing was stripped down, custom powder coated, all kinds of cool stuff. So I'm very excited to go grab that. Zach, do you need my help or are you good?
Whoa, what was that?
Jeez. Did you guys just see all that soot come out of the exhaust? It must have been caked up in there from our trip to Utah. That's weird, because this thing's been started and pulled out in the last couple of days. I actually drove this thing yesterday, a fairly good distance. Well, y'all, we have just picked up the bike. You can probably see it back there. You probably noticed she's not 100% finished yet. Obviously, there's no graphics on it, and we need to get a seat cover made for it that's gonna match the whole theme, which obviously you'll see the whole theme here in a second. So we're gonna stop by Thrill Seekers, because we're kind of out their way, and see if we can convince them to make us a custom seat for this thing. Well, we have arrived at Thrill Seekers. Give you guys just a little sneak peek right there. That bike is an absolute monster. Let's go see what kind of trouble we can get into. Well, not quite the success I had thought on getting the like custom seat cover that I wanted made, but I think we got one that's gonna fit the look of the bike and be pretty cool. It's just not quite the level of custom I like. Doesn't mean we can't modify that seat cover once we actually get it. All right, y'all, we have made it back to the shop. Parking is absolutely on point today. Looking great, looking great. Yeah, we'll just lower the airbags a little bit.
I love fat tires.
Bro, is this thing not a monster?
This thing's rad.
Dude, this thing's so tall.
Oh my God.
Like, it's just like, this is a full-size bike for you, bro.
Dude, it's a 65.
It's bigger than a 65.
A 150.
Like, Chris's bike on the kickstand is like acceptable.
Oh my God, that thing's gonna tip over.
Yeah, this thing's almost laying over. You don't realize how big the tires are until you see them next to...
No, because you left them on the cart and I picked them. I'm like, whoa, those are some big tires.
Guys, here she is in all of her glory. This has been so long awaited. I think the parts have been sitting here for 6 to 8 months, right?
Like that,
yeah. This thing is massive. I know it's gonna look small on camera. We should actually roll...
I was gonna say, grab the stock bike.
Yeah, where is the stock bike? Oh, right here. We'll give you guys a little comparison. So we've got stock bike here, minus the handlebars. Chris's bike, which just has the springs, dampening rods, and the bigger shock in the rear, but it's still a stock swing arm. I'm gonna show you guys the size difference. This thing is huge. So there's your size difference right there. Obviously this bike's sitting up just a little bit more, but it takes essentially a 4x4. That's the extension we're gonna need to add to that kickstand right there. We're actually gonna end up machining a whole brand new kickstand for this thing, but that's, yeah, look at the tire size difference. These things are burly. Now granted, they're gonna be heavy. They're probably gonna slow the bike down a little. But I did what Chris did. I did all the CJR performance stuff. Obviously we did the new ECM. We did throttle body, did the new intake. So Chris's bike is an absolute ripper now that he did all that to it.
You went 2 sizes bigger on the tire. You kept stock gearing. Chris is geared with all this stuff.
Yeah, but I think he geared.
And I still beat him on my bike just because Chris is a big guy.
Yeah, well, so I'm figuring, like Chris's bike is super fast with us on it, but I figured by the time you put Chris on his bike, like me and Chris's size difference is made up in this tire difference right here. So we'll essentially have similar speed bikes. Now granted, everything you ever watched of us in the videos, I was on a bike just like that, other than just the exhaust. And I was very comfortable, and these things had plenty of power. Well, almost plenty of power. There's a few jumps that like we needed a little bit more out of it, but.
Dude, riding this one before it was done, you could tell it was clapped.
Yeah.
Like you're on nothing.
Yeah, that was blown forks, blown rear shock, everything.
It wasn't any forks or rear shock. It was just, you'd hit a lip and it was infinite spring rate right off the top.
Yeah. So this thing is going to be a heck of an upgrade. I'm going to actually have to learn how to like completely re-ride the bike. Now again, obviously new seat covers coming because the big old red standout seat is just, it's too much right now. And then I haven't quite decided what graphics kit I'm going to go with, but that's all coming. So let's just like pretend there's something really cool right there. But what we did is we got the BBR +2 swing arm. We went ahead and had our buddies at Swift powder coat everything. Whole frame off, frames powder coated, swing arms powder coated. Everything was powder coated white with a polar sparkle on top. So I don't know if you guys are gonna see it, but I feel like at this point in my life, everything we're doing is super sparkly or we don't want it. Hopefully you guys can see some of the sparkles in there. She's a little dusty from the trip home, but she's got polar sparkle in her. We went ahead and powder coated the hubs in an anodized red. It's not true anodized, but it's about as close as you can get in powder coat to match all the little anodized red accents that came with the BBR stuff. We went with the XL wheel, or XL rim front and rear, and then these monsters, the Midas tires. Shout out to Nick for recommending these to me. I don't know if I'm gonna like them. Haven't ridden on them yet. I rode Chris's bike with bigger tires, and his were big at the time, and actually really like it. So I'm hoping I'm gonna love these monsters. I went super soft in the rear because you know we gotta learn how to wheelie really well. Figure that'll help us. We got the BBR skid plate put on, so considering my kickstand doesn't do a whole lot, now she'll sit flat up on a bike stand. I'm going to head and put the DBK's upper clamp. Boom. Finally got the ASV levers on. Oh, and every little detail, all the nuts, all the bolts, everything was zinc coated, and it's kind of like this, like supposed to be black, but it kind of turned like greenish gray, and I really do like it. I think it's sick. We did totally forget about the Kickstarter there, but whatever. So like I said, this thing is an absolute monster. I mean, if we stood these two up next to each other, like,
did the shift brace and everything?
Oh yeah, bro. Oh dude, she feels like the right size now. Just height-wise on this bike. Oh. I definitely notice it being just a smidge bit slower than Chris's on the low end, but it feels like there's plenty of top end on her. I think we're definitely gonna have to play with rear sprockets there because she is tough to get up now to do wheelies. Mostly considering it's a 2-inch longer wheelbase, but the giant back wheel and stock sprocket size didn't really help. But we're gonna do a little comparison here. Chris's bike, just having the forks done and the rear shock, no swing arm. Yeah, it definitely adds height in the rear right there. That's a good height difference.
They are okay. Well.
Oh, Zach's ordering the swing arm.
Yeah. I mean, might as well take it apart.
I like how Chris's bike comes with a Traveler SC1.
Well, it's almost empty, so I gave it to him.
And since we got gas goat over here in the shop, it's kind of like the ideal time, since we're going to be installing those transfer tanks, to get my transfer tank all plumbed up and set up on the single cab. So in the morning, we're going to bring the single cab down here. But first, I got to show you guys. Check these boogers out. We got the new Work For It air fresheners. We got the skull hands. And we've got the Screw It. These things are absolutely awesome. You guys know I hate air fresheners. I hate like fake scents and all that stuff. It gives me an instant headache. These ones are actually really, really nice. This one's a nice blueberry smell. And then we've got everybody's favorite, the cocoa nut. All of which are available at workforapparel.com. There's always a link down in the description for those. And those will get you entered to win my 2005 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD. Now, in case anybody wants to know what it's like to own donkeys that just free range on your property, it's essentially like being a prisoner and the corrections officers don't like you and they decide to come turn your entire cell every, like, I don't know, 6 hours? Because,
This is kind of what it looks like. I mean, they really love to unplug this cord for some reason, which lights up all of our lights right there.
pretty much every 6 to 10 hours, depending on how bored they get, the donkeys like to come through here and just, you know,
Kind of toss everything. I don't know where those gloves came from, but they seem to find those. Yeah, I'm not sure where that scrub brush was. They really love to tear up the turf and then just throw the gravel and sand that was under it, and they just mix all that up.
gotta love donkeys though. Kind of been dreading the fact that I have to drive this today. But at the same time, we gotta get this thing dialed in, and I really don't have my gray truck. So we're kind of stuck. We have to drive it. She's been sitting here for a minute. Let's see if the old single cab starts up. So this truck has the low voltage cutoff, which is what my Denali needs, and it'll eventually get on there. Don't worry about it. But basically, if any accessory thing, radio, all the lighting, whatever, draws too much power, it'll cut power to every single accessory and just leave enough power to be able to start the truck. Very good to have. You can actually set what voltage you want that to kind of kick on or off at. Now, before we head to Tractor Supply to get the pumps that are gonna be going on the new transfer tank, gotta stop over here at the Rhino Ranch Entrance Project. And we had some flash floods that came through here the other day. Kind of survey a little what that happened in the next video, but I gotta kind of figure out what we need over here to be able to start. Oh, dude, this dirt is hard. Yes, I love it.
I don't know where all of this washed from, but holy crap, I don't even know what this is. It's like all the crap that came off of the trees. It completely filled the trench here. I mean, that's almost to the top right there. So this trench just became like a big waterway.
Just wanted to come over here and see
Exactly what we needed. This is our temporary water setup. So it looks like we need to go 1 inch to 3/4.
that way we can run a garden hose over here because we are going to be starting back up on the Rhino Ranch Entrance Project. I know a lot of you guys have been wondering about it, and well, because things like this take a lot of time and they take a lot of money. And as you guys know, I have like 5 million things going on all the time. So to find enough time to actually work on my own projects is tough, and the cost for this stuff adds up really quick, even doing it myself. So, you know, sometimes I gotta take a little break, make a little bit more money to be able to keep going on stuff like this. But the next video after this one should be the next phases of the Rhino Ranch Entrance Project. Oh, how I love driving the single cab on these dirt roads. And in case you're wondering why the front end of the gray truck is worn out, it's because of these roads that are not easy on vehicles. Oh, jeez. All right, y'all, so it is this pump right here, and daggum, these things are expensive. We need 2 of them. This one looks like it's been open, which worries me, but I don't really have a choice at this point because these are the only 2 that I see here. Oh, wait, no. All right, we're gonna grab those 2. Well, that one definitely hurt, guys. That cost a pretty penny right there, but we need it, so let's do it. Now, we're gonna use the old forklift here, even though she is not exactly all back together. She's looking good though.
Get the propane turned on here.
You guys also haven't seen this thing in the sunlight yet, and it's not completed yet, obviously, but
Can we just talk about the insane amount of sparkle there in that flake that we put on?
let's see what kind of trouble I signed myself up for here.
All right, we got us a crescent wrench. We got some thread tape. Is it fuel rated? No clue. We'll find that out later. Let's open this bad boy up.
Now, albeit these are expensive, you got to kind of weigh in the fact that they are giving you
a pump handle, which is one of the auto shut-off ones, which these ones, they're not the big diesel ones, but I believe these ones are around 60, 70 bucks. So, you know, factor that into the cost of the pump system.
Got our draw tube here, which goes into the bottom of the tank. Got handle number 1. I feel like we should do 1 diesel and 1 gas. So a green handle and a blue handle. That way nobody can mix that one up. Even though it's mostly going to be me ever using this thing. But got our pump down in here. It doesn't look that complicated. You know, it's just a matter of having the right fittings and the right joints and all that stuff. I don't think I have all of the right stuff, but hey, you know, we're pretty close. I believe for the inlet tube on this tank, obviously, like, that's massive.
Considering they put the pumps so low on these tanks, because the whole goal with Flog here is to keep everything low profile. Even with your pumps installed, you're still below your bed cap, which means you can run a tonneau cover.
So we're gonna have to trim this.
Which I believe means we're gonna have to trim this entire thing and then have to cut these channels back into it, because this is a sliding suction tube here, which is great if you got something longer, because it'll automatically height adjust to whatever the height is of the tank. I just gave her the old heave ho and I got these things to separate, so that's gonna make trimming things down a little bit easier, other than the fact that like that end is specialized.
Not really sure how we're gonna do this without it just being this tube, which means we gotta get this height like spot on if we want to hit the bottom of the tank. I want to see just how far this tube sits down in the pump so we know kind of what to count for on our measurements. I think these threads are just a hair out of whack. It's probably horrible placement for this, but regardless, there is how she's gonna sit. So I'm gonna set her in there now. I'm gonna measure how much I need to cut out to hopefully get this to sit directly on the bottom of the tank. Again, it's a lot easier if you have a taller tank and you can use that other tube right there, because it'll just slide perfectly into the right height. Can't do things the easy way. Come on, guys.
Now I've got my mark there. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that distance, I'm gonna subtract that off the bottom, and that's where I'm gonna trim it.
Almost just made a very crucial mistake, and a lot of you guys watching this probably caught it before I just did. This piece goes in first. Of course my phone rings, but this piece goes in first. That's gonna add probably
the distance we're taking out right there, like exactly. What I'm thinking is I might just be able to trim the top of this actual like expanding part of the hose, or tube I should say, and slide that up on there. We might actually get that like whole adjustability back, because my line that I marked is like up in here, up in this fitting. So I think we're long enough.
And because I'm a fan of just guess once and cut and hope for the best. All right, let's see if she goes back together, and hopefully, oh, she's a little too far there. This might take two hands here. Get it, get it. Okay, we don't film this. You don't need to see that. Okay, we're back in action.
Don't let it go past the little teeth portion right there, because it's a pain in the butt to get it back up. But we got it, so I should be able to just like set it right there. As it goes into the tank, it'll adjust to the height that it wants,
which hopefully we cut enough off of there, which I think we did. Now Zach's a fan of the liquid thread sealer, and I know we got some in the shop somewhere. I just don't know where it's at. So we're using this again. Is it fuel rated? Probably not, but it's gonna work for now. Installed up in there. Now's gonna be the moment of truth.
Did our tube modification work or not? So we got our thread tape on there. We're gonna slide this booger on, and
hopefully we cut off enough.
Here we go into the hole.
All right, we've hit the bottom. Why are we not collapsing? Dang, we bottomed out already? I mean, good news is like we didn't cut off too much. Okay, now it kind of makes sense. I guess at the end of the day, we added like a ½ inch, maybe a little bit more. We're gonna go for the ease it in technique.
We're gonna start by trimming off that much, because I already marked kind of where we're at. And that's with trying to account for how much this is gonna come down once this thing's threaded on, but
so far my calculations haven't exactly worked out right. So a little bit at a time, we're gonna keep checking it until we get it right.
Definitely should not have put the thread tape on, but it's on.
So we're probably gonna end up having to redo that. All right, let's give this a try now. Probably still gonna be a little too high. Maybe. I don't know if it's gonna show up on camera, but we've got about that much space we got to take off now still. She's hitting the bottom. That's as tight as it'll let me go. And I think it's safe to say this toolbox is going to get moved, because this little 1 inch at a time thing here, twist, release, isn't really cutting it. There we go. All right, she's coming off. She's coming off. Now we got her trimmed. We're going to cut our little standoffs in the bottom of this thing here. This blade's very worn out.
May not be the prettiest here, but I think we ended up doing pretty good. So we'll get this threaded back on.
Hopefully we got the right height this time, because I'm not saying I don't want to do that again, but I
really prefer not to do that again.
Change of plans on the 14 change of plans. So I ran out of the pipe sealant, the thread sealant.
So Sergio had some extra, but
I feel like at this point I should go get stuff that's rated for gas and diesel. In the meantime though, you can see the sun's going down because it's right in my freaking face. We're gonna take this over.
Sergio's gonna have the truck for tonight and tomorrow morning. He's gonna get everything pre-wired, because obviously We got to run some decently gauged wire back here to both pumps. Now Sergio's going to leave some connectors basically, so we're going to pre-wire everything up with connectors. We're going to cut the end off of that cable, put a connector there. That way the connectors are in the bed, so if we ever need to pull this thing out as a whole, it's just disconnect the power for the pumps, and this whole thing will come out.
It's also going to make it easier for me when I go to install these pumps later tomorrow, because
obviously being able to pull them up and stuff and not have them tethered by a wire is going to make everything easier. So the old truck's going over to Sergio's shop right now. It's going to be in good hands.
Yeah. Now, in case you guys ever wonder how disorganized my days are, anytime I call an audible, it's because something happened or something popped up and Sergio just happened to walk over and I'm like, have I got an idea for you? Now, for those of you that always wonder and think I don't need as many vehicles as I have, well, you can see where it really comes in handy. Currently, I have 2 trucks now that are down, and we got some work to do with the ranch. So while these 2 are down, we gotta have backups on backups on backups. But we got a bunch of stuff we gotta do tomorrow morning. We'll let Sergio get everything wired. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon and hopefully get all those pumps installed, and we should be up and running essentially. Alrighty, y'all, we are back. We've got a new project in the shop. I'll let Zach explain that to you guys probably in a whole nother video here. But we got the old single cab back from Sergio. I'll show you guys kind of what he did here to make our lives a little bit easier. So on each one of the pumps, he went ahead and basically cut off the giant pigtail that they had
and wired in a waterproof connector.
Now that connector corresponds to,
oh jeez, the other end in the bed right here.
But it's gonna make things a lot easier if we ever need to pull this tank out for any reasons. We're not chasing down like 20 feet of cable or anything like that. We've also got a pretty decent thunderstorm going on tonight, which I know in like real parts of the country that get weather, this is nothing, but it's been pretty entertaining. Of course, now that I'm filming, you're gonna see like 0 lightning bolts or anything like that. And well, you can probably hear on the roof here, it has started to rain now. I went ahead and picked up like a slimline pipe wrench to hopefully be able to get into here without having to move the toolbox. And can we take a second to complain about packaging that's next to impossible to open without other tools?
Mainly this booger right here. Like, unless I'm completely missing something on how you open this. I even used my multi-tool and snipped it right there, but then realized, no, gotta snip it a little higher if you want to get this thing out.
I hate packaging like this. It doesn't need to be this hard. It doesn't. Make a 45-minute video on how to get this pipe wrench out. All right, we got it. I also went ahead and got some liquid thread sealant. This is kind of what I was looking for in the shop. I know it's in here somewhere, but couldn't find it, so we're gonna be using this today. And hopefully we have no leaks, because leaks aren't fun when it's gas and or diesel.
But before we re-pipe seal that booger right there, we're gonna make sure we've got our length right on our draw straw here.
It's our last shot before we send this thing in for good. And well, here goes nothing. Looks like our new pipe wrench is the perfect size as well. All right, so I think we're good.
That's fully installed right now. It's tight. It doesn't feel like we're hitting the bottom, so
hopefully that means we're just barely off the bottom of the tank there, considering we've kind of inched our way into this. Now that I know that works, I already pre-marked the other tube, so we can cut that one as well, but I'm gonna pull this booger out right now.
I missed where this was yellow, as I've never used a yellow one of these.
I don't know, it says non-hardening, so hopefully it's the right stuff. If not, well, we're committed at this point, because I kind of need this for up the ranch. We got a lot of stuff we got to fuel up, so we're just going for it. Get her on there. Oh, jeez. Oh, this stuff's messy. And it doesn't smell very good either. Not gonna lie, at this point, I kind of like the Teflon tape better. Okay, we are thoroughly coated, as well as added some extra to the tank, you know, for good measure there. Let's go for the install and hope for no leaks. Sorry, my arm's gonna be in the way here. Okay, pump 1. Install. Might have screwed up, y'all. I just found. I'm assuming this is where this goes. It's like a, I don't know, cardboard, fiber, possibly an O-ring that goes right there. I'm not really sure. I didn't see that. Jeez. I didn't see that anywhere in the instructions, so hopefully that goes there, but we also I got no clue where that side went. We're just gonna hope for the best, because that's how this project's been going so far. We're gonna get some thread sealant here on this booger. Then we'll cut our new tube, get that side installed. Let me just say, this new pipe wrench coming in clutch. All right, guys, I got struck by lightning or something. I don't know what's going on here. I know for the life of me that I marked that tube length on another tube to go into that pump itself there. because that's what a smart person does before you install something that you need to know, like you need to mimic the measurement to on the other side. I can't for the life of me find the intake tube, draw straw, whatever, that has those marks on it. I know for a fact I did it because I remember telling Sergio, hold on, let me do this before I hand everything over to you. And yeah, I got no clue. Oh, I don't know. I feel like there's another one missing here. I just don't know where it's at. And that's probably the one I need. But then I vaguely remember it was like this piece that got cut. I don't know. You know what that means? That means I'm pulling that pump back out. But it's actually good because I ended up finding the other little fiber washer thingy, whatever. I should probably make sure this goes there. I bet this is gonna be 10 times messier coming out than it was going in. Oh, she is so much for the soft dry. We don't need to be difficult. We're getting out of the bed for a little more leverage here. There's no way this dried hard. I refuse to believe it. Maybe I'm just that strong. You guys know I love doing stuff twice. All right, we're out. We're out. I need to clean this stuff up. Brake cleaner in a rag it is. We'll go with a little carb cleaner. And on this chemistry lesson, kids, this is how you learn to make deadly fumes. Don't recommend making the deadly fumes. Dude, this is such a mess. I'm so glad you guys can't see this right now. I'm gonna end up coated in this stuff. See why Zach wears gloves now when he does this. Also, why does this can have a tail? Threads are all clean. Now I need to go get clean. As I'm recording this for proof this time, in case like I am actually going crazy. Oh, anyways, all right. So I got this one marked now off of this one, which right there, you can see. Hold on, wait for it. There's a little Sharpie mark on there. Hopefully you can see it. There's 2 Sharpie marks actually, because that highest point is how far I went on these little inlet teeth that I cut. Now we're gonna reinstall this one because there's no way I really am gonna clean the pipe thread sealant from the inside of this female thread here. So it's still tacky. I think we still got plenty of time to reinstall it. So we're gonna re-pipe thread, seal that thing, and get this one on real quick before anything dries up. Okay, that booger is hopefully in for the last time. Let's get our next straw cut here. I'm happy to say we've got pump number 2 fully installed. Everything went much better than the first one. Now, I only have 1 gas cap because that's all Tractor Supply had in stock. So we're getting this one threaded on here. Again, we used our liquid pipe thread sealant. Don't know if I'm ever gonna use this again. Not a fan. Not a fan. This stuff is way too messy. Maybe I just suck at it. Okay, gas cap 1 is installed. Feel like we're gonna have to mark these. So this side is the 75-gallon side. This is the diesel side. And then we've got the 35-gallon gas side over there. You guys aren't gonna believe this. I found the elusive draw straw. It's down in there. Don't know if y'all can see it. There that booger is. This is the one that I had marked. Thank goodness I found this, just in the fact that I know I'm not going crazy, but geez, I was looking for this booger for like 20 minutes right now. This is probably one of like the most go wrong projects I've done in a minute. I should probably knock on wood somewhere, but yeah. I don't need that anymore. Now again, Sergio made this super easy for us to hook up here. All we gotta do is plug in the waterproof connector. We should have power if the switch is on. The switch is probably off. Now I told him to put it up. There we go. There's our switch right there. Now this truck does have a low voltage cutoff, so that's probably why that switch isn't coming on right now, and I should probably go find the keys somewhere around here. Now we're gonna have to fire the truck up here because we gotta get the volts high enough for the low voltage cutoff to kick off. So once we use that initial juice right there to start the truck, give it, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds, 45 seconds for the alternator to charge the battery up, gets that low voltage shut off to cut off. And just like that, we are on, which means that switch is now live. Let's go see if this pump kicks on. There we go, pump works. Now I would totally get the hoses and everything like fully installed tonight, but I was just at Home Depot and completely forgot to get more fittings that I need because we're gonna be running these filters. What we're gonna do is we're gonna 90 directly out of here to the filter, and then we're gonna 90 back again, and that's where the hose is gonna come off. So this toolbox might get in the way, but I think we can keep it really tight to here, and we have plenty of room. We're gonna find out one way or another. I don't have those 90s, therefore can't get the filter kits installed, which means I can't get the hoses installed. But it's probably time I step away from this for a second, because tonight has not been my night. So I'm just gonna go stand out in the rain, because it's like 100-something degrees and humid as crap in here. Oh, jeez. Just got splashed by the door. And we should probably wrap up this video. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed already, please click the subscribe button now that you do not miss out on any future content. Don't forget to give this video a like, get a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out workforapparel.com, because if there's anything you want in this life, like winning my 2005 Silverado, which we are still giving away, and it ends at the end of this month, so make sure you guys get entered. I forget where I was at that point, but you gotta be willing to work for it. You guys are the best. I'm out.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah.